Hi everybody, I'm Phil Fatika and welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. Today we are going to be asking you to volunteer for a most worthy project. So let me introduce you to Jacob Moore. Jacob is an environmental planner, we'll call him environmental planner. He's with the DEP and he is stationed at TREC. A lot of initials there. DEP stands for?
Department of Environmental Protection.
And TREC stands for?
The Tom Ridge Environmental Center.
So you're right down over the hill, working there right by the water.
Yep, right next to Waldemere and right off the neck of Presque Isle State Park.
Did you go in the wave pool yet?
I have not been in the wave pool yet.
It's a little brisk.
No, it's been a little cold
to warm up.
Open,
yes.
Yeah.
Jacob is here to talk about a big event that's coming up in September, the International Coastal Cleanup. And they're looking for people to help. Would that be correct?
That is correct.
All right, let's back up a second. What is the International Coastal Cleanup? Exactly what it says it is?
It is that. It's a global, worldwide event where we have upwards of 500,000 people on the same day in September every year picking up trash, collecting information on that trash, and then using that information to raise awareness and build partnerships.
I was just going to say, is there a pattern to the trash? Is it, I mean, the old thinking used to be, throw it in the water, out of sight, out of mind, I'm good, I don't have to worry about it.
I think there is a pattern to the trash. I think since we've started the cleanup in Erie County, it has we've picked up consecutively less trash each year.
Oh, that's good.
Some years there's a little bit more than the previous year, but by and large, it's a downward trend in the amount of trash that we're picking up.
I'm glad you said Erie County because this has been going on globally. How many years?
30 years. This will be the 30th year this year.
So, and it's been happening in Erie only
13 years.
A little slow to do that.
A little slow to do that, but they got a really good start. They picked up a lot of trash that first year, and they've had tremendous number of volunteers years after.
Okay, so give us some websites or a phone number where we know that people can find information about. They'd like to help you. We have a big reach here. I'd like to volunteer and help Jake. Have to get up early in the morning?
Yeah, so if you want to volunteer for the coastal cleanup, you can visit our website at nie.goerie.com.
nie.goerie.com.
/coastal cleanup.
Okay, that'll be on the
That's
screen.
our website.
Yeah, we'll be on the screen.
And then you can also give us a call at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center to register at 814-217-9634.
Excellent. How many people you'd like to have?
We'd like to have upwards of 3,000 people out this year, so if we can get that number, we'll be happy.
Last year, how many did you have?
About 1,600.
Whoa!
So we had a lot of people.
Rain or shine?
Rain or shine event, yeah.
Okay.
If it rains, we still go out. We still, we typically have less folks when it rains, but by and large, we still have a good crowd.
Okay, yeah, I would think so. Let's back up a little bit and let's tell the people about you, okay? You are in the job how many years?
I've been with the DEP for about 4 years now.
Okay, and you have a degree from?
Slippery Rock University.
Slippery Rock in?
In Parks and Resource Management. And I also got my master's at Slippery Rock in Sustainable Systems.
In Sustainable Systems?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. I would think that in your class there's not 195 people graduating. I would think it'd be a little smaller number.
It was a much smaller number,
yeah.
But Slippery Rock had a great Parks and Rec program at the time, and they had a great job placement program at the time. So it was nice to be able to get those opportunities out while you were in school.
What drew you to this?
What drew me to this was working for the environment, helping people clean up the environment, doing the right thing, essentially, helping people.
You were, I'm going to be a little personal here, mom, dad, family, or pushed you that way, or that you were the outlier?
No, they didn't necessarily push us that way, but we grew up doing outdoor recreation activities, kayaking, fishing, camping, grew up hunting.
You still do that?
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, fish?
Fish, cross-country ski in the winter, downhill ski in the winter, camp and hike all summer.
So this is a natural blend for you here.
Yeah, I would say so. Passionate, very.
Good for you. Yeah, don't ever lose that passion. Again, Jacob Moore, he is with the environmental planner with the DEP, and he's stationed right there at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center at the top of the hill there. We're talking about the International Coastal Cleanup coming up in September. They need volunteers, they need people. Jake, let's go back. This started where? Who had the first idea to say, we got to start picking up the seashore here or the inland lakes or something here? We just can't use these as the toilet and the garbage pail anymore.
Yeah. So back in 1986, it began as a small trove of volunteers in Corpus Christi, Texas. They had about 12 cleanup sites, and it was just a one-day event where they went out and picked up trash. And it has grown from that one-day event in 1986 to about 6,000 sites globally. And we have over 91 countries that participate every year.
Okay.
Over 500,000 people that come out to pick up trash. and collect information on that trash. And they use those materials and information for information and outreach to try and promote a reduction in litter entering our Great Lakes and marine environment.
Good for you. You said that as time has gone on, you're picking up less trash, which means, I'll get my pen back here, they're not just chucking it in the streams or throwing it in the lake or in the bay. That's a good thing?
I think it is a good thing. I think the more education and outreach we can do, the more fine folks we have with the different environmental organizations in Erie County. You know, they touch people every day with their outreach programs, and every person that they touch transfers that to another, whether it's family or friends, and I think that plays a large role in that reduction in trash.
I think that people like you that hunt and fish, sons, save our native species, those are strong advocates for what it is that you do. I mean, we only get one Mother Earth. This is it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't go back and get another one somewhere. Before we started taping, I asked him what are some of the unusual things that he found, and the most unusual here in Erie would have been
an old liquor distilling still that we found. It was a couple of our site coordinators out at Erie Bluffs and Elk Creek Access area.
Oh, well, it's on west, almost in Ohio there.
Yeah, almost in Ohio.
Tell us more. It was an old distillery.
It looked like an old steel distillery with some steel and copper piping, and it was all rusted and whatnot, but that was what they came to the conclusion of, is that it had to have been a liquor still that washed ashore or was dumped. So it was quite an interesting find. Other than that, over the years, they've found vehicles. They found a litter of kittens one year. They found a full set of clothes. They've found a mannequin. Just quite a few interesting and odd objects. Those are probably the most prominent, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So in Presque Isle, though, we started in what year?
In Presque Isle, we started back in 2003 with the International Coastal Cleanup.
Yes.
They've had multiple cleanups since the early 40s and 50s, but that was when the International Cleanup started out there.
Yeah, and you're looking for how many people? As many as possible.
As many as possible. I'd like to see 3,000 fine folks from the city of Erie if we can, and the rest of the county.
Absolutely. Tell them to come on out and bring their willing to bend over and pick up stuff?
Yeah, they should be willing to bend over, pick up trash. It's only 3 hours, so it's 3 hours of hard work where you're picking up trash, collecting information on that, and then we recycle some of it, and we work with waste management to take care of the rest of it.
Roughly from what time to what time?
9 a.m. to noon on the third Saturday of September every year. This Saturday, it happens to be Saturday, September 19th, 2015.
Okay, rain or shine?
Rain or shine event. We have 17 site locations throughout Erie County, so we work with 17 different site coordinators to get those sites staffed and have volunteers ready to go at those sites with work gloves, trash bags, data cards.
So they'll give you all the stuff?
Yeah.
And you kind of pick it up and tie it and leave it there?
That's exactly it. We work with waste management to have basically trash pickup locations, and they'll come through later on that day or later on Monday or Tuesday to pick up the trash that we've left at those sites.
This would be a nice activity, I would think, for any school to participate in a learning activity, starting for sure at elementary level, but certainly in a middle or high school. Do you get those people participating?
We do.
Community service hours, so to speak? Yeah,
we have upwards of 20 schools that participate within Erie County, as well as 5 local universities that span from Allegheny College students that come up from Meadville, from Edinburgh University students to Gannon, Penn State Barron, and Mercyhurst, who have all participated over the years and continue to do so.
Yeah. Now, this necessarily wouldn't occur, let's go a little bit to Pittsburgh, necessarily wouldn't, or would it occur in the Allegheny River or the Monongahela, any of those?
It actually does. They have a large gathering in Pittsburgh at the Three Rivers area, and they bring in even more volunteers than we do. So they have a large cleanup effort where they work with Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful, an organization that coordinates the entire cleanup for the state, and they help us with materials and trash bags and gloves and whatnot.
That's really
so it's a large event. It's a being global. We have multiple sites throughout the state of Pennsylvania, and Lake Erie is just one of them.
I would think maybe because you're keying on Presque Isle, and by the way, before we taped, you said how many visitors at Presque Isle, making it the? So
Presque Isle gets approximately 4 to 5 million visitors a year, one of the most visited state parks in the nation. It's a prominent landscape feature and a great recreational destination for folks to come out to.
Do you fish there?
I haven't yet this year, but it's not to say I won't, hopefully in the next few weeks.
Zero luck.
Zero. There were a lot of bass boats out there.
Yeah, there are a lot of bass boats, and a lot of perch boats are out there, and you can see the guys trolling back and forth with walleye.
Yeah.
And the perch are just delicious to eat. I love them.
I love perch
eating them,
sandwich.
too.
Yeah.
Is it necessarily on, like, say, Walnut Creek or Elk Creek or French Creek or any of those tributaries that either flow north or south? Is the cleanup part of that too?
It certainly is. We've
Oh,
got
it is.
cleanups
Okay.
that start out in Raccoon Creek Park at
Yep.
the mouth of Raccoon Creek. They work from west to east. We have one at Elk Creek.
Okay.
We have one at Walnut Creek. We have one at 8 Mile Creek near Shades Beach. We've got one at 20 Mile Creek and at the Northeast Marina. So we span the whole county.
Nice.
And we even go down into the French Creek drainage a little bit with Edinburgh Lake.
Well, you keep using the word cleanup.
Yeah.
And there's a relief map here.
There's
I think they can see that through us, and it is of?
This is of Presque Isle State Park. It
Okay.
was developed and put together by a group of local students, middle school students, and this was all trash that was picked up off of Presque Isle State
The
Park.
map is made of trash.
The map is made of trash. You've
could,
got cigar tips, lighters, gallon milk jug lids, even a Nestle water bottle sticker, even a squirt gun on there. So
Yeah. Just about anything, huh?
yeah, you never know what you're going to find.
Boy, you don't. You don't. A Capri Sun,
Measuring teaspoon,
chapstick or
lip balm
lip
there,
balm.
yeah.
Lip balm, yeah. Yeah.
Even
interesting.
a bobber.
Yeah.
Last year they found a medical bracelet from a gentleman at Presque Isle State Park, and they were actually able to contact him via his contact information
Is that
and
so?
get it back to him. So
Yeah.
you really just never know.
No, you don't. You just don't know. My notes say, though, it's not just a cleanup, that there are other things. It's a county-wide effort, I think, to raise awareness. Fair to say that in a broad
That's exactly it. We want to
philosophical
raise awareness about the amount of litter entering our Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
We live and breathe and use this water every day. We all drink the city water every day, at least for folks who live in the city in Millcreek Township.
and beyond. Some
Yep,
of it.
exactly.
Oh, yeah. McCain.
So, and then we all recreate in it, whether it's using it for fishing, water skiing, just going out to Presque Isle State Park and enjoying the beach. We really take this for granted and need to raise awareness about
We
it.
all live downstream.
Exactly.
Yeah, we all live downstream. I was telling him that when we are driving on the Pennsylvania Turnpike heading east, that you run into the signs eventually that will say you are entering the Chesapeake Bay watershed. In other words, you throw it in here, someday, some year, it's going to end up there. Is
That's
that correct?
exactly it.
Yeah.
So in the city of Erie, when your water enters a storm drain at the end of your driveway, that water eventually makes its way to a tributary that leads to Lake Erie. So everything we do up in the upper reaches of that watershed really plays a role with what happens in the lake. So whether it be algal blooms or nutrients or increased sedimentation within the lake, upstream reaches really play a role in
Let's
those
talk
issues.
about that, because the algae, or the alga as you called it, that's a potentially bad thing that could be occurring, especially in the western side of the lake.
Yeah.
And then you get those fish, I can't think of them right now, the one that you see the video, they're jumping out of the water, hitting people.
Yes, the Asian carp.
Asian
issue that
carp,
we've
yeah,
got.
that's particularly bothersome to me, that those may be invading the lake. They have no known enemy. I've been to meetings and they're putting in dams in the Chicago River so they can't migrate into the inland waters. You got an hour to talk about that. I'll come back. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, that a concern, real concern, and what are we doing to say, hey, folks, don't do this, stop this?
It is a concern. We have a harmful algal bloom task force led by a couple of biologists up here in Erie. They're doing an excellent job working on reducing nutrients and sediment within Lake Erie and the local watershed areas. So I think we have a pretty good handle on it. I think they're doing a great job, and if anybody wants more information, they should contact one of our biologists there at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center.
And the number there?
The number there, 814-217-9635.
Okay, yeah, that would be a good number. When all of this is collected, and anthropologists, I guess, they would look at this 2,000 years from now, or 10,000 years from now, and look at this and go, wow, they were dirty. Boy, they didn't have much concern for the thing that nurtures, as you said, and sustains them and keeps them alive.
That's exactly it.
Okay, let's back up then. Why do we do this? Why do we throw it in there then? We know that, but we go, well, yeah, but it's just this little pen, it won't make any difference. And I'd have to go all the way back home and throw it in a recyclable, the heck with it.
Yeah, I think some people, it's personal preference, potentially out of sight, out of mind, the mentality where it's just disposable. We live in a almost disposable economy per se, where many things are made to be thrown away, and we have to look at that mentality and potentially look at thinking differently about how we utilize the tools that we use on a daily basis, whether it's a pen or a lunchbox or a to-go container from a local food restaurant. We have to.
I'm going to go out on a limb. You can lie if it's not right. I bet you don't smoke.
I don't smoke, no.
I kind of bet you never smoked.
Can't say I never smoked.
Okay.
But I can say I don't smoke.
1 for 2 ain't bad. The reason I'm saying that is because what you do is so much tied into the healthiness of all of us. So why would you want to pollute yourself and the air that other people breathe if you smoke? And here you are trying to keep the water that we drink and sustain us as part of your livelihood. And I think most people your age, and I would say you're 26, 7?
28.
28, close,
yeah.
Okay. Are very much, you vibrate on that. That is your mantra, I don't know.
Yeah.
I find that to be true and encouraging. And I applaud you for doing this because you're setting a standard, you're parting the waves, and you're carving a path, and it says, I'm going to do this and I'm going to change this.
That's right. It takes one person at a time, whether you hit that one person here, say, at an interview, or whether you hit that one person out and about working along the Lake Erie Bluffs doing one of the other projects or programs that we work within.
If you had your druthers, you could change everything. What would you change about the way we feel about this? You had that magic power.
To get people to understand the importance of water. I think water is it's the lifeblood of everything that we live and breathe and do. We can't live without it, and we use it to survive on a daily basis. So if there's one thing I could ask people to do, is just to take a little bit more care in the water resources that we use on a daily basis.
I agree. I agree. Right now, when we're taping this, Texas is flooding. Other parts, they're having huge storms. And in Southern California, they want our water. You know, I mean, they don't have enough of it. They wish they had our rains that we've been having as of late. But then again, they also abuse it out there too. You know, they water their lawns. I remember not too long ago that they started metering water, and people went, metering water? Well, we can just go out to the lake and get as much as we want. Why am I paying for what I use? I bet you nickel you support that. I bet you. You use it, you pay for it. Turning on the hose, we're sprinkling a leaf down your driveway for 20 minutes, using all that water just to sprinkle a leaf. People change. They realize it's not it's a finite resource.
Exactly. That's a question I like to ask students that we bring into the Tom Ridge Center and different environmental programs too. Is water infinite or finite? And you get a variety of answers from students.
What do they say?
Many students say it's infinite because we have a tremendous supply of water in northwestern Pennsylvania. We have wetlands everywhere. We've got Lake Erie right here, and we've got more water than we know what to do with. But in the Southwest, we don't have that situation. We have to be cautious about the water that's being used and where it's being used and when, due to a host of environmental factors.
So, fair to say that some of them don't think globally? They only think small? They see water, it must be everywhere.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
Let's go, you gave me some interesting numbers to look at here.
Yeah.
Some numbers that were found. Last time you had that Lake Erie shoreline, big numbers. We're dirty people. 115,000 pounds of whatever. 13,000, almost 14,000 volunteers, but this is what's particularly interesting. And getting the map here, the top 5 items since you began cleaning up the Erie shoreline. The number 1 item is?
Cigarette butts.
Cigarette butts.
Number 1 item across the globe, too.
Is it really?
Been number 1 since day one of the cleanup.
Day one. I would have bet you would agree with the fact that on certain beaches on Presque Isle coming up this season, you can't smoke.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. They recently changed a couple of the rules out on Presque Isle to limit cigarette butt litter because they have an issue out there with litter and cigarette butts.
Yeah. The number 2 item, do you know that one?
I believe it's either food wrappers.
Yeah, food wrappers. Where on here did you find that food? Well, there's the Capri Sun.
So we've got a Capri Sun, a water bottle wrapper.
Yeah, right, yeah. Aquafina.
Gum wrapper there at the bottom.
Gum wrappers, yeah, here. Okay, number 3 is, I see this a lot, It's just like you don't know where to put it, so you just chuck it. What would that be?
Beverage containers.
Yeah, beverage containers.
So whether it's plastic or cans, I think that's a very dominant piece of litter that people,
Yeah.
you know, out of sight, out of mind. They,
Yeah.
it's just made to be disposable.
Sure.
So.
You can crush it real easily
Yeah.
and throw it in there, and it doesn't go away, I don't think, easily. What's the
Doesn't.
breakdown on that? Let's say a can of Budweiser. That's aluminum.
Can of Budweiser. I'm not exactly sure how long a can of
bet
Budweiser would take, but
it's
quite a
long
few
time.
years,
Yeah.
long time, yeah.
Quite a few times. And then the next one is these lids and straws that you could possibly get from, let's say, going to a fast food restaurant. You got the straw in there, or the straw that comes with the
Exactly.
Capri Sun.
The straw
thing.
that comes with the Capri Sun, the straw that comes with the to-go cup from one of the fast food restaurants, or even bottle caps and lids. From
Yeah, okay. And then the last one is something that is in danger to the fish. It is with some, well, there's a movement, is it in California, that they're no longer giving out these items.
It is.
And that is?
California, plastic bags
Plastic
is
bags.
The fifth
Yeah.
top item that we pick up. And in
Yeah.
California, they banned plastic bags from
Yeah.
grocery stores
You agree
and
with that?
shopping centers. You know, I'm not sure if I agree or disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a pretty new law out there, and we'll see how it goes.
I
It's
think,
interesting.
from what I've heard and what I know, is that I have the bags in my car that, pack them in it, but I always forget them.
Yeah.
So I go in the store and I go, you want plastic? Yeah, my bag's in the car, I forgot. The people who are filling up the landfills are saying, you have to stop doing that. These things aren't breaking down like we thought they would, and our landfills are being choked. So that's not part of your purview, though, or is it part of your educational purview to say, look at this, let's not do that anymore?
If we have an environmental education program on marine debris or litter, yeah, we'll bring that up and say, be mindful of the plastic bags. We want to use the reusable bags. We want to reuse that plastic bag more than once, rather than just throwing it in the garbage or throwing it out the window.
Yeah. Leading on to the next question is, instead of throwing them away and reducing the impact on the waterways, I think you just said it here, you can recycle those plastic bottles and containers. And the other good word I like is to reuse them.
Exactly.
Okay? Yeah. How do you give us some examples of the reuse?
So of reused packing materials, you can use plastic bags as a packing material. If you're moving, if you have friends or family that are moving, they're great for packing dishes, glassware in. If you're going to the grocery store, typically when you come back from the store, a lot of the plastic bags aren't ripped and torn. You can reuse them going back there. Or even just for daily tasks, if you're going to carry something out to work, you can use a plastic bag. Or you can recycle them at a lot of local grocery stores and other large supermarkets. You can typically recycle plastic bags there.
Nice. I think there's a two-word phrase that sums that up simply and succinctly: don't litter.
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
litter. So when you go to work,
Yep.
down at Trek, what do you do?
So when I go to work, many days I work with property owners along the Lake Erie Bluffs.
Okay.
It's a diverse job, very broad. I work with property owners along the bluffs. I do some permitting for lakeshore structures. So if somebody's putting in a boat launch or a groin or a seawall, potentially work with them on a permit required for that. This summer we're working on our control point monitoring program. We measure bluff recession.
Say again.
So control point monitoring.
Okay, control point.
So the department has a control point monitoring program where we have about 130 steel pins every half kilometer along the Lake Erie Bluffs. And what we do with those pins is we measure the rate of bluff erosion. So every 4 years we go out, we locate that pin, we just measure on the same angle and azimuth that we did 4 years previous and determine how much has eroded since that time.
Is it eroding?
It is. It's constant.
That's not good
It's a
news.
futile process to
Yes.
deal with bluff erosion. It's a never-ending battle, and a tough situation for some homeowners.
It's very much like Presque Isle on the peninsula. It's
is.
sort of like a slinky. It wants to keep going east. The wave and the water and the current, the winds just push it that way.
Exactly.
And at least for the time being, within our lifespans, mine certainly, they have those breakwaters out there which stop some of that. But Mother Nature just wants to keep moving it and sending it someplace else, which is what it's wont to do. People know this when they go to buy a property, that some of that property may disappear. noticeably within 10, 15, 20 years?
Some of them do. That's one reason why we work with them so much, is we work with property owners, realtors, the local township, government officials. When properties are for sale, we like to work with the realtor so they know what the risks and potential circumstances could be for whoever's buying that property.
That's nice.
So it's a great way to provide some outreach to the local community.
And again, you're available. This is Jacob Moore, and he is available at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center. Give your phone number, Jake?
Phone number is 814-217-9634.
So here we are today. Lots of notes coming up about the intercoastal cleanup, which is set for September. And beyond that, Jake, what do you see happening? The educational efforts are paying off. People are not just chucking it in there anymore. Globally, we have a lot to go. I don't know. It's a big question.
It is a big question. I think locally we're doing a pretty good job. Throughout the year, we have the Great American Cleanup, which is done in the spring months. So they have essentially very similar to the coastal cleanup, where they pick up trash, collect data on that trash, and use it for awareness. Presque Isle has multiple cleanups throughout the year, and they have actually an Adopt a Beach program through the state park, which you can contact them as, say, a family or local group, and actually adopt a beach and clean that up, say, once a month. Very similar to the Adopt a Highway program.
You can adopt, really? Just
yes.
Like, oh, really?
Yeah.
You can adopt a beach, and you and your family or your neighbors can go out there and say, we're going to pick this one up, clean it?
And they provide the trash bags and work gloves to do so. And then on top of that, we have the coastal cleanup in the fall, and we've got environmental education and outreach opportunities all year long for school students, for other groups as well.
Yeah. Jake, you're a fountain of knowledge.
And it's not just me that does this. There are a host of other groups who put on these outreach programs.
Yeah.
Everyone from Asbury Woods Nature Center to the Presque Isle State Park environmental educators to Environment Erie to the Erie Maritime Museum. Right now they have a marine debris exhibit going on at the Erie Maritime Museum with art very similar to this one here, developed by local students, as well as other exhibits set up to just kind of raise awareness about the amount of trash entering the environment.
Keep raising the awareness.
We'll see what we can do.
We need more people like you.
That sounds good.
Good for you. Thanks for doing a good job here today. Look forward to seeing you picking up stuff.
All right, Phil, I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. This is Jacob Moore. Jacob is an environmental planner with the DEP, headquartered at Trek. Next time you're down there, say hello to him. Remember this: don't litter. I'm Phil Fatica. Until next time, take care.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.